Welcome in to the Punt Pass podcast. I'm your host, Drew Butler, joined alongside my co-host, Jake from. Be sure to follow us on social media. We are at Punt Pass on X and Instagram. I'm at Drew Butler. He's at From Jake. PuntandPass.com, the number one destination for all things college football. Appreciate everybody's support. I've been getting a lot of messages, Jake, on social media. Got a lot of messages, too, of people who have been signing up for PrizePicks. Shout out to everybody who's doing that. Promo code PUNT. We'll get that read here in just a second. This episode of Punt and Pass presented to you by our awesome partners over at PrizePicks and, of course, brought to you by Humberto Injury Law. I will get to those in just a second, but week 2 of college football is here. It is officially September. Week 1 is what it is. We've got some great headlines to touch on in 3 and Out. Then, of course, I'll get you my DB3 piece, which smacked in week 1. We're off to a great start, Jake. And then we'll go inside the 5 and dive into the 5 biggest and best games of the week 2 slate. Jake, what's going on, man? How are you?
Man, I'm doing great. Fired up to hear about this DB3 piece.
Yeah, you are.
It's going to be awesome. And week 2 in college football, man. I'm just so pumped, so excited. Week 1 was awesome, very hectic, and a lot of things to talk about.
Yeah, we do have a lot of things to talk about, so let's dive right into it. First things first, as I mentioned, this episode of Punt and Pass presented by PrizePicks. Let me tell you what's going on with PrizePicks this upcoming weekend. As you know, tonight, Thursday night, the kickoff of the NFL season. I cannot wait. You got a great NFC matchup. The Cowboys at Super Bowl defending champion Philadelphia Eagles, and PrizePicks, man, they have a doozy. Download the PrizePicks app right now. Use the promo code PUNT, P-U-N-T, PUNT. Now, when you play your first $5 entry, win or lose, you will get $50 instantly deposited into your account. However, Jake, PrizePicks this weekend is debuting the free-to-play contest. Let me say that again. Free-to-play contest. It's a new way to play PrizePicks. It is completely free. You make your free sports predictions, and you can play for jackpots up to $1 million. There's bonus lineups, and there's more prizes. There is a $100,000 college football jackpot and a $1 million NFL jackpot. All you do is put your lineup in, you track your progress, and you cash in big. So do this. Download the PrizePicks app or go to prizepicks.com. Use the promo code PUNT. When you play your first $5 entry, you get $50 instantly, and you can play for free for a $1 million NFL jackpot or a $100,000 college football jackpot. I had multiple people slide into my Instagram DMs and be like, hey, dude, what's the promo code again? I said PUNT. They said, awesome, my $50 hasn't uploaded yet. I said, you got to let the lineup finish, and then win or lose, you get your $50. So thank you to everybody who is continuing to sign up for PrizePicks. We're the day one OG partners of PrizePicks. I'm proud to say that. A great partner of Punt and Pass. And this episode of Punt and Pass is brought to you by Humberto Injury Law. If you've been hurt in an accident and need a team that fights for you the way your favorite team fights on the field, Humberto Injury Law is here for you. Humberto and his team know what it takes to win, and they'll stand by you every step of the way. Visit HumbertoInjuryLaw.com to learn more, or call them 770-888-8901, 770-888-8901. I'm telling you that from experience. They've won for me. You don't have to pay anything until they win for you. HumbertoInjuryLaw.com. All right, let's go 3 and Out. I got a really, really, really good one for you, Jake, on first down. It kind of blew up on social media. Kirby Smart, the head coach of Georgia, his press conference was on Tuesday this week because Labor Day was obviously on Monday. Jake, you and I were both at the game against Marshall. Awesome kickoff between the hedges, 3:30 p.m. start time. It got a little toasty out there. It got a little hot. Yeah, you would expect that on the last weekend of August. But a reporter asked a specific question about the fan turnout. Kirby answered, and yeah, it got a lot of reaction. Jared, go ahead and roll the clip of the question and the answer. Jake and I will dive right in.
Yeah, given how successful you guys have been as a program over the years and the fan turnout is what it was on Saturday, what, if anything, do you think can be done to better incentivize better fan turnout?
Better incentivize? I don't know that you incentivize the turnout. It's not I don't really believe in incentivizing things. I think it has to be a core DNA trait, a belief. You know, when we sell things, it's, I will do this if you do this, and incentivize. I don't think that's great motivation. You know, I think it's intrinsic in who you are. I think people should love to be at a Georgia home game because there's only so many of them. It's limited opportunities. It's the same thing about our players. We don't incentivize them to run to the ball by saying, we'll go up in your NIL if you run to the ball. You got to do it because you want to be great. You got to do it because you want to be different. And if our fans want to be great and different, then they'll do it.
Okay.
I have
a lot to unpack here.
I want to start by saying he answered that to me as eloquently as he possibly could have.
Yes.
Like he didn't attack anybody, but he just said, "Hey, if you want to be great, you know, if you want to be different, like that's just what we got to do." And he answered that to me to an absolute T perfection, like only he knows how to do.
Yeah, and I think you and I probably hear that answer as a player. You're hearing him talk as a coach, right?
Yeah.
We're all coachable. We all want to be great. What does it take to be great? Well, he's telling you, you got to show up, you got to support. Now, of course, this can be taken in many different ways from the fan base, the fans who are paying a lot of money to buy season tickets, the fans who are paying tons of money out of their discretionary income to bring their families up to Athens from South to Middle Georgia or around the Southeast region, hotel rooms, food, parking, tickets, concessions. I mean, it all adds up really, really quickly. So you've got some people who are grabbing that comment and being like, well, what are you talking about? You got others who maybe have been coached hard before or been coached by Kirby Smart himself who are saying it and going, okay, yes, sir, I got it. I know what I have to do to be great. And then you have other people who are looking from the outside and you're saying, well, what do you expect? I mean, it's 90 degrees in the beating hot sun. Georgia's up 45-0 with 14 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I should be able to leave. I want to leave. This game is over. I've seen all I need to see. So the reaction, the immediate reaction from the Georgia media, people that you and I know very well, was kind of broad strokes. And I want to go to a tweet that got a ton of play on social media. And it was started by somebody you and I respect very much. And also shout out to UGAsports.com and Roddy Nabulsi. We pulled that clip from them at UGA Sports on Instagram. Roddy is awesome. Brandon Adams from Dog Nation Daily. Love Brandon. He is a total stud. Every single day he's on Dog Nation. He's got a great podcast as well. So go give him a follow. He tweeted this out after the press conference. And he said, Kirby Smart just came down pretty hard on UGA fans for the stadium not being full on Saturday. With all due respect, he needs to tread lightly on this subject. He comes across as out of touch. So I saw that and I go, wow, BA, a very level-headed guy, covers Georgia to perfection, I think. I think you would agree, Jake. Yep. And I said, what does he mean by out of touch? How did Kirby Smart come down very hard on the fans? Why should he tread lightly on this subject? So I asked BA, out of touch in which way? That seems like a broad statement. And BA responded, as of course I knew he would. He said, the empty seats on Saturday were mostly students, but UGA also recently put single game tickets on sale to games that would have almost certainly been sold out in the past. As somebody who buys tickets for my family, I can say people, especially young fans, are getting priced out. It is a real issue. Now, that is exactly, Jake, how I expected him to respond. Go straight to the price, okay? So I said, that's fair, BA, but this is a larger issue across college football. It's not exclusive to Georgia alone. In regards to the fans in the stadium, staying in the stadium and supporting the team for the entire game, Kirby has every right to make these comments. So now it's blown way out of proportion. I wouldn't even say out of proportion. It's just getting a lot of reaction from the fan base. First and foremost, I totally agree. Of course, fans are getting priced out of college football, but look around. Go to the grocery store. Go to the gas. Everything is more expensive. College football and your experience on a Saturday is not going to be sheltered from prices being high everywhere else in our everyday lives, Jake.
No, I think you are hitting the nail on the head there. I think you're exactly right. And I also, speaking on this issue, I think more specifically, this game was just more about staying
Sure.
in the stadium. Right? I mean, I think me and you were up there. We're like, getting in the third quarter, we're like, man, it looks like we should head out to go do our job, our media hit, that we had to do. We're like, man, we're gonna have to beat all these people out of here because everybody's leaving. So I think staying was probably the bigger issue at hand in this specific case. But I do think there's a case across college football, just getting priced out tickets, man. I totally get it. I totally understand. It's an epidemic almost is what it is.
Yeah, it's just the reality of the situation that we're living in. I had some people say, and they're probably not Georgia fans, well, what do you expect? Why would I want to go to a game when Georgia's playing a cupcake like Marshall or this weekend against Austin Peay? And I said, hold on a second. Wait 1 second. This goes back to the bigger issue of college football. Georgia was scheduled to play last Saturday against UCLA in Pasadena, California. That was supposed to be a kickoff game in the Rose Bowl against UCLA. Well, what happened 4 years ago? The Big Ten expanded. They brought in UCLA and USC. And what happened to the game that Georgia was supposed to play in Pasadena and when UCLA was supposed to come to Athens? Those got scratched. No more of those games. Do your schedule on your own. Georgia had to scramble. Go get Marshall to play the kickoff game. So what I said to the fans who brought that in is I said, again, go back to the bigger picture of what's happening in college football. It's the big bad people up in leadership, overarching, that are saying we need to make this game bigger. Yes, we might have to price the fans out. Why? Here's the reason why. Fans get priced out. You have to sit at home and watch the game on TV. The TV ratings go up. Now the conferences can go back to the TV networks and negotiate a bigger TV rights package. What does that mean? It means more revenue for the schools. They're all happy. We're priced out. We're sitting at home watching on TV. It's exactly what they want to happen. That's why college football playoffs are expanding. That's why all of these kickoff games are in stadiums you've never been to. They either want you to travel and go spend all that money to be in the stadium or sit at home, watch on TV, and have the ratings be bigger. It's big business. It's only getting bigger big business. And unfortunately, the fans are the ones who are getting priced out. I don't see how, the toothpaste gets put back in the tube, Jake. It's just the reality of the situation. And quite frankly, it's unfortunate because a lot of people spend a lot of money and dedicate a lot of time to bring their families and spend money to experience these events, which are awesome.
Yeah, no, I think last thing, too, that I'll add to this topic is because things are wildly expensive, people also know that these big home games that are slated later on in the season are going to be even more wildly expensive. And so there's probably a little bit of a, hey, the Alabama game's going to be expensive. Texas game's going to be expensive. The Airbnb, the hotel, they're twice as much. And so there's probably a big factor of that being brought into the situation of saying, hey, couldn't make it this week. We're holding out for that bigger game, so to speak.
Yeah, and I would expect the fans and the students to stick around for the entirety of those games. And you know what? When I was 18, obviously you and I were on the sidelines. But if it's 6:30 p.m., Georgia's up by 45, I'm sitting getting beat down by the sun in the student section, downtown Athens sounds pretty good at that moment. So I don't blame them either. But again, I don't blame Kirby Smart for making that statement. If you want to be great, be in the stands. Be a factor, and surely they will do that when Alabama, Texas, Ole Miss come to town. So it's just something that I think is a conversation that's out there. But unfortunately, with how the world is right now and how expensive everything is, college football is not the only thing that's more expensive. And newsflash, it's only going to get more and more expensive. I had somebody tweet me and say, hey, I paid $50 to park. Last year I paid $25. And I'm like, look, you paid it. So that's just economics 101. I don't know what else. I don't know what else to tell you. I understand the frustration, supply and demand. That is correct. Would love your feedback.
Like Econ 101.
That's exactly what it is. We are at Drew Butler, at From Jake, at Punt Pass to keep this conversation going on social media. Okay, let's go to a second down real quick. Yeah, the LSU Clemson game was really good. I thought you and I both were texting during that game. Great battle, two top 10 teams. Clemson got out had a great first half. LSU shut them down in the second half. A big win for LSU. There's no doubt about it. Well, Dabo Swinney was asked about the game, of course, as he was going to be in his weekly press conference. And he answered in the only way you would expect Dabo to answer. And it got a pretty good reaction almost immediately from LSU head coach Brian Kelly. Jared, go ahead and roll it.
It was a hell of a game. Down to the last play. Right out of the gate. It's like getting the final exam day one of class. They made a 65, we made a 58. Neither one of us were great.
We dominated him in the second half. So he's either a really good grader for, giving himself a 58, or he's a really hard grader on us, or he didn't see the second half, which that might be the case. He might not have wanted to see the second half.
I mean, brilliant response by Brian Kelly. Either he didn't see the second half or he didn't want to, but Brian Kelly's right. They dominated him in the second half, but I also think Dabo Swinney hit the nail on the head. Those week one matchups against top tier teams, it's like getting a final exam on the first day of class. Like, hey, go out there and do it. Show us what you got before you've had 4, 6, 8 weeks to prepare and get your team in check. So I thought it was good. Good back and forth. This is why we love college football.
No, exactly. This is kind of what we love about college football. And I think there's a little bit of truth in both of their statements, right? There's a lot of things that didn't happen in that game that, by LSU and by Clemson, both quarterbacks a little bit kind of rough maybe in the first half. LSU definitely won the second half. That is 100% objective truth there. But man, the pettiness. I mean, Brian Kelly finally gets his signature win, and loves to be a little petty there. So not a huge fan of that. Just coming from me. And I would also say I always found it so interesting as a player of which coaches really watched the opposing teams and other teams and other coaches' press conferences, because just some guys just really, really cared, and I've just never been one to care all that much.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, which coaches are diving into the tape, and are they watching LSU as intently? Or are they just grading Clemson? I would have to think that Dabo was just grading Clemson. Now, when he said they made a 65 and we made a 58, I took it as he's talking about like an actual test in school. 65 is just passing, I believe. 58 is obviously failing. So what Dabo was saying is like, yeah, in the first half, LSU definitely failed. I mean, it was 10-3, right? Like we were winning. And in the second half, it flipped. So LSU got the passing grade because they won the game, and Clemson, failed because they lost the game. It was a hard-fought game. I mean, I think Dabo's comments, and again, it's funny because whatever he says and the manner that he says it, he's going to get a reaction. I think it might have been misconstrued a little bit to say like LSU played bad. He's not saying that they played bad. He's saying they both were rusty. They both weren't perfect. And LSU did dominate in the second half. Brian Kelly is correct. They ended up winning the game, so they get the passing grade. I highly doubt, Jake, and you could educate me on this, I highly doubt the LSU coaching staff on Tuesday was like, hey, great game. This was flawless, man. You guys were awesome. That's all we needed to see. Let's keep it going. Surely they went in there and said, we have a lot to correct. And it goes back to one of the sayings that I absolutely love from Bruce Arians, my head coach in Arizona. You can learn a lot from losing. You can learn even more from almost losing. It's great when you win and you still have a lot to correct.
Yeah, that is it, especially in the NFL, because every win matters so much, and in college football now. If you can learn more from those almost losses, those wins, man, that is huge. But, I agree. I think this is from every single team across the board week one. There are so many things to clean up because you don't have those preseason games. You don't – like the scrimmages that you go good on good inside your own team, you can only do so much and work out so much rust. So there is a ton to clean up across the board, across college football after these week one games.
Yeah, you're totally right. Good back and forth, man. Good back and forth. I hope more coaches do that because it's highly entertaining for us, and it gives us something to talk about. All right, let's move to third down. We recorded the earlier week episode on Monday afternoon. It was Labor Day, so there was one more game to go. It was that UNC-TCU game. Chapel Bill Belichick making his debut as a college coach at North Carolina. ESPN hyped it up like crazy. And they looked awesome on their first drive, went straight down the field. Colin Cowherd tweeted out in the moment. I don't know if you saw this, Jake. He tweeted out in the moment.
Oh, I saw it.
I've seen all I need to see. After UNC's first drive, I can confidently say that Bill Belichick is the second greatest college football coach ever.
That is
behind
great.
Nick Saban. Now, I don't know if it was tongue-in-cheek. Colin Cowherd is a very smart person. I think he was trying to rile up the social media base and get some clicks. What do they call it? Click farming. I would hope that's what he was doing because the wheels fell off after that. TCU went on a crazy run, completely shut down North Carolina's offense. They were up 41-7 at one point. They finished the game up 48-14. Yes, of course, there was a lot of attention on the broadcast. Kirk Herbstreit caught on a hot mic saying they're bad or you're bad. He had to go to Twitter and stick up for himself, which I still don't understand. His dog took over the broadcast. They put a headset on the dog. They had nothing to talk about. I mean, I don't blame them.
That's so bad.
They had nothing to talk about. The dog being – I'll stop right there. You know how I feel about the dog. But – social media, it's a cold world out there. And people started taking to the social media streets to just pile on Bill Belichick. Pre-game, though, there was a poster that went viral from a Chapel Hill tailgate. Jared, go ahead and put the clip. This is just perfection. This is absolute perfection.
Excellent.
There is a sign at a tailgate, and it says Air Jordan. Of course, North Carolina, a Jordan school, Michael Jordan, an alumni, and the picture, rather than the MJ Jumpman, is a silhouette of when Bill Belichick was doing beach aerobatics with his 24-year-old girlfriend, Jordan Hudson. Absolutely brilliant. You should be watching on YouTube to see the clip that we just put up on our video. That right there is amazing. And of course, Jake, when you're getting your tail kicked in, people are going to pile on. They were showing videos of Jordan Hudson talking to Bill Belichick on the sideline. I think it was pregame or halftime. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. But I saw this, okay? Did you see what was behind Bill Belichick when he did his postgame press conference?
So I saw this, and I don't know who to give credit to, but it was on my Twitter. Someone had quoted it and said, whoever let Bill Belichick's girlfriend's sorority do the balloon arch for the press conference. I just started dying laughing. I mean, that's just awful. I mean, I don't know who thought it was a good idea. Like that was just not something to do there in the moment.
Because you never see it. It's never been done in the history of college football. I'll explain to you what we just put up. There is a legitimate balloon arch, like a baby shower, wedding day style party, photography scene balloon arch behind Bill Belichick at his coaching press conference postgame. I've got 3 daughters. I've got a wife who loves to spoil those 3 daughters, and so do I. When there's any excuse to have a party at the house and order some balloons, we do it, man. Shout out Wynn Montgomery. She's right here in Duluth. I mean, we go to Wynn. She makes us some amazing balloon arches. I don't think I've ever seen balloon arches put up behind a college football coach, much less maybe the most ruthless coach in football history, 6-time Super Bowl champion Bill Belichick at UNC just got his butt whooped 48-14, and he's doing a post-game press conference with a bedazzled balloon arch behind him. Jake, where does it end? This has got to be embarrassing for UNC boosters and fans.
It could be a balloon arch, but the bedazzled balloon arch is where we draw the line, right?
That's exactly
that's too far. That's too far. UNC, too far. I mean, Michael Jordan was at this game. There were so many other
Lawrence Taylor, Mia Hamm, legends, greats. We're all there to support their university, and it went down in flames in week one.
But it started off so flawless. I mean, that's like all the tweets, live during the game. Colin Cowherd crowning Bill Belichick is the second best coach ever in college football. And I mean, UNC, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. And then from there on out, after that 7 points happened, I mean, it is just all TCU. I mean, they just mopped the floor with them after that. So just unbelievable of how just the tale of just one drive and then the rest of the game. The only good thing that did happen was local Max Johnson throwing a touchdown to his brother.
Yeah, to his brother.
At the end of that game,
stick it in there.
Which was pretty
awesome.
Which was pretty cool.
That was awesome. To put a bow on this topic, because I mentioned the Colin Cowherd tweet, all of the hype around Bill Belichick being back in coaching. Granted, it's at Chapel Hill. You can even go back to the Arch Manning conversation that you and I had on Monday's podcast. The hype in college football, the hype train by the media is simply out of control. And Mike Wilbon, on Pardon My Take this week, he had some thoughts on how that might be potentially ruining the viewing experience for college football fans everywhere. Jared, roll the tape.
But Tony, so let's go back to the Ohio State-Texas game for a second. Here's what stood out to me week one and all the days leading up to week one. I don't want mass media, major media, networks, including people that we like to call our friends, to just ruin the watching of college football for me, the consumption of college football, by exaggerating the hell out of everything, by overstating everything. Arch Manning is not Peyton or Eli or Archie just yet. Yeah. Just let him simmer a little bit.
Let it percolate. Let it
Jeremiah
happen.
Smith, he is not Jerry Rice just yet. I heard somebody who I probably like a lot say, probably somebody I covered, say he's the best college football player I've ever seen. You know what my recommendation would be? Then watch more college football over the last 50 years, because he ain't the best I've seen. He's made some great catches and things that make you go, ooh. But can we just stop? The greatest weekend all of it is just slobbered over.
It was a fabulous opening weekend in terms of games.
In terms of
matchups.
We intended to see that, and we didn't get it.
Yeah.
Right? No, the Miami-Notre Dame game kind of lived up to it. Okay. LSU-Clemson had some
Give LSU some
moments.
credit. I think that's the first time that Brian Kelly has won at LSU in the opener.
It was impressive.
Yeah.
Can we just let the season grow a little bit?
Okay, now I 100% agree with Mike Wilbon. And you and I talked about it. It's like, dude, we don't know what Arch Manning is. There are other quarterbacks in college football who are better than Arch Manning right now because they have more experience, because they've played more games. They've been in bigger games. Carson Beck, better than Arch Manning. Lenore Sellers at South Carolina. He is better than Arch Manning right now, week one, heading into week two. Now, what will Arch Manning be at the end of the year? We don't know. But to be the Heisman favorite and all these comparisons, Feinbaum saying he's as good as Tim Tebow ever was, that's crazy. However, I think you have a different viewpoint, Jake.
So after watching this clip a couple times and getting through the entirety of the clip, yes, there's a lot of things I agree. I think we are exaggerating. Arch is not his uncles, and Jeremiah Smith is not Jerry Rice. But I couldn't get past the first part of what he said, and I just thought it was so hypocritical talking about the exaggerating sports media when I just feel like he is an exaggerating in sports media.
Point.
And so
great point.
I just could not get past it. So there are, I guess, careers to be made by exaggerating in sports media. I personally do not want to make a career out of exaggerating in sports media. I would like to tell it as much to the truth as I possibly can. So anyway, it was just tough for me to get past the first 10 seconds of that clip to the rest of the truth there in the back half.
Yeah, I think your perspective is extremely valid with that opinion. There's no doubt about it. I would even tie it into with how we talked about college football is just getting more expensive. Like, bigger is better in every way, shape, and form. The more that the media can hype stuff up, the more that they're incentivizing people to tune in and watch. So they will build you up and they will knock you down even faster. It's just the way it is. Overall, though, I agree with Mike Wilbon. Just chill out. Just chill out. Let the season play out and let us be able to form our opinions after we actually see what happens on the field. I appreciated that insight from Mike Wilbon. Maybe, Jake, just maybe, he listens to his own words and he maybe pares back his hot
just tone it down a little
takeism,
bit.
so to speak.
Just a little
Hey,
bit.
this episode of Punt and Pass is brought to you by Humberto Injury Law. Football is all about game plans. You know that, and winning cases is no different. Humberto Injury Law builds a strategy tailored to each client, making sure nothing gets overlooked. Just like breaking down film, they study every angle to give you the best shot at success. Learn more at HumbertoInjuryLaw.com, HumbertoInjuryLaw.com, or call them 770-888-8901, 770-888-8901. Punt and Pass brought to you by Humberto Injury Law. Hey, before we go inside the 5 and preview the 5 biggest games of the week, can I give you the PrizePicks DB 3-piece so we can maybe go 2-0? All right, you want to do that?
Look, I have my notepad right here, and I'm ready to write it down.
My man, he is ready. This episode of Punt and Pass presented to you by our awesome partners over at PrizePicks. As I told you earlier in the show, PrizePicks is unveiling something this weekend that's never been done before. All you got to do is download the PrizePicks app, and this is free to play. Yes, they will have an NFL contest where you can win a jackpot up to $1 million. $1 million free to play. There is a $100,000 college football jackpot as well. That is free to play. Download the PrizePicks app. Use the promo code PUNT, P-U-N-T, PUNT. And when you play your first $5 entry, you get $50 instantly, win or lose. There is no better time to be on PrizePicks. NFL kickoff is this weekend. Here is the Week 2 DB 3-piece. And look at my notepad. I have a PrizePicks notepad there. PrizePicks notepad, baby. All right, here we go. Awesome. Last week, it smacked. I went 3 quarterbacks. We went 3 for 3. The DB 3-piece, it hit. Here is the Week 2 DB 3-piece. Starting off with the Oklahoma-Michigan game. We'll touch on that in just a second. College game day is there. John Mateer, the quarterback of Oklahoma, more than 37.5 rushing yards. Okay, he's very athletic. He was great at Washington State a year ago. A lot of high hopes for Oklahoma this season. He's going to have to get outside the pocket. He's going to have to extend some plays. John Mateer, more than 37.5 rushing yards against Michigan. Ole Miss takes on Kentucky this weekend. Kentucky beat Ole Miss last year. It's a big revenge game, okay? Kewan Lacey, Ole Miss running back, more than 64.5 rushing yards. Kewan Lacey, Ole Miss running back, more than 64.5 rushing yards. I don't think Lane Kiffin's going to go out there, try to throw the ball all over the field. Kentucky is not going to be good this year. I think Ole Miss dominates them up front. They run the ball. Kewan Lacey, more than 64.5 rushing yards. And my last one, to bring it home, my boy, Rocco Becht, the quarterback at Iowa State. Iowa State against Iowa. It's in Ames this weekend. Rocco Becht had a great week 0 against Kansas State, threw for a couple of touchdowns. Rocco Becht, Iowa State quarterback, more than 1.5 passing touchdowns. That is the DB 3-piece for week 2. John Mateer, Oklahoma quarterback, more than 37.5 rushing yards. Kewan Lacey, Ole Miss running back, more than 64.5 rushing yards, and Rocco Becht, Iowa State quarterback, more than 1.5 passing touchdowns. Download the PrizePicks app. Use the promo code PUNT. When you place your first $5 entry, you get $50 instantly, win or lose. All right.
I like those.
Ready to head inside the 5? Go ahead, please.
I am. Yeah. Let's go inside the 5 because I wanted to transition to talking about Michigan and Oklahoma anyway.
Okay. You want to start there? Michigan against Oklahoma. Can we do that?
I mean, that's a big one to start with.
It's the primetime game. Absolutely. 7:30 p.m. on ABC. 15th ranked Michigan at 18th ranked Oklahoma. Oklahoma, a 2.5-point favorite. The total here, 46.5 points. This should be a good one. ESPN's College Game Day will be in Norman.
Now, this may be a wild take, but obviously Arch, number 1 on the hype train, most media. But man, I'm telling you, John Mateer was a very close second, I think, on my Twitter feed. The hype coming out of Norman in Oklahoma has just been huge. Obviously, had a great first game. I am actually so intrigued to see how this game goes, where Oklahoma and Michigan, right? Both of these programs are trying to kind of bounce back into their better days with new quarterbacks. Man, I am so intrigued to see this. I like Oklahoma in this game because I'm picking experience at the quarterback position. I guess I'm on the Oklahoma hype train here, but I think there's a lot of good to be seen from this Michigan football team. More importantly, Bryce Underwood. I think he's going to flash a lot in this game. I just think he's going to make a few mistakes that'll be detrimental for him.
Yeah, we talked about the targeting penalty on Jay Sean Barnum, Michigan's linebacker, their top pass rusher. That happened in the second half of their game against New
that
Mexico.
get appealed?
It got appealed and it got denied. So he is out for the first half of the game against Oklahoma. That's one of the reasons why I went with Mateer over more than, 37.5 rushing yards for Oklahoma. But Bryce Underwood, true freshman starting quarterback for Michigan. This is a tough spot. I mean, Norman, Oklahoma is going to be rocking on Saturday night. I just think I'm along the same lines as you. Big time environment, home field advantage for Oklahoma, a big spot for Michigan on the road. Do not forget what Oklahoma did to Alabama last year in Norman. They whooped them up and down the field. I think Oklahoma feels that this game is a launching pad for them into the season. They have a very tough schedule as well. I like Oklahoma in this game for all those reasons. I think their offense will look good. John Mateer should not be scared of this moment with the experience that he has. Granted, it was at Washington State a year ago. So I will lay the 2.5 with Oklahoma. Are you on the same side as me, or do you think it's closer?
I know I'm on the same side of you for all the right reasons, all the reasons that you stated, which are the right reasons.
Yes, thank you.
I'm looking at Oklahoma's schedule here. I mean, I don't know. I was just kind of getting some weird parallels. This is going to be, I'm stretching it here, but like a big game in week 2, a new quarterback, some revamped kind of. There's just some good juju going on in the program right now. But I'm looking at Oklahoma's schedule. I was trying to equate them to kind of 2017 Georgia.
Of course, yeah, that Notre Dame game. Absolutely.
But, man, Oklahoma plays Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, LSU.
Whew. Giddy up. You better win this weekend.
That is a gauntlet. They have to win this game. So
no question.
Double down on Oklahoma.
About it. Let's go between the hedges. Austin Peay is coming to town. The Governors to take on 4th-ranked Georgia, 3:30 p.m. kick on ESPN or ESPN Plus, I believe. No point spread here because there shouldn't be. Georgia should be able to do what they want. Probably fix some things that they wanted to clean up in week 1 win over Marshall, looking for a little bit more aggressiveness out of the defense, hopefully some sacks, some turnovers. Ryan Puglisi looked great last week. Surely he'll get some more play. Yep. Hopefully Gunner doesn't have to run the ball 10 times, but if he does, it's in those situations. I like Georgia big, not much to break down here. They got to get ready to go to Knoxville in week 3.
Yeah, and let's just call a random line from us. I think
37.5. 42.5. Yeah.
Okay.
More. Yeah.
More cowbell. I like more cowbell. Let's just do it. Let's just double down on it.
Yeah.
But seriously though, on a real note here, #real talk. What do we want to see from Georgia here? I want to see improvement in the run game. Gunner take the next step. At quarterback, I want to see some. I just want to see a big time throw. I want to see a big explosive completion, whether it's a go ball, a post ball. I don't know. I just want to see one. Hopefully Bobo sees this and he dials one up for me early in this game. I would absolutely love that. And I want to see a turnover from the defense.
All right. I like that. Let's go to Ole Miss in Kentucky. 20th ranked Ole Miss is at Kentucky, 3:30 p.m. on ABC. Ole Miss a 10.5-point favorite. The total 50.5 under head coach Lane Kiffin. Ole Miss 1-4 straight up and 0-5 against the spread in SEC openers.
Don't care. Yeah. You kind of stole my thunder with this earlier. This is Ole Miss's revenge game. Austin Simmons balled out last game. I think Kentucky's going to be awful. I really do. I swear Zach Calzada, quarterback for Kentucky, I thought he was in my brother's quarterback class coming out, which was 2019. I'm confused on how he's still playing.
He's been everywhere. I think this is the last year of the COVID year. I think, and he's transferred a bunch.
But Tyler had that last year because Tyler had a redshirt year at Auburn, and then he got that 6th COVID year to finish his 6th college football season at Georgia Southern. So this is year 7 for Calzada. So I don't know how that's happening. But give me Ole Miss here in this one. Lane Kiffin revenge. I tell you, I would be something to watch here in this game. Ole Miss gave up a lot of yards rushing in their first game, and Kentucky had a ton of rushing yards in their first game. So, that's just it's just kind of who's going to win the line of scrimmage here in this game. I think that will be a big factor, but give me Ole Miss.
All right, Zach Calzada started at Texas A&M. He led an upset of number 1 Alabama in 2021. Then he went to Auburn. In the last 2 years, he's been at Incarnate Word. I don't know. What does that tell you? Ole Miss big. I think it's a great revenge spot for them. I'm going to lay 10.5 with Ole Miss as well. Here's a fascinating one. South Florida at 13th ranked Florida. Okay. 4:15 p.m. kick on SEC Network. Florida is a huge 17.5 point favorite. The total here is 56.5. South Florida dominated top 25 Boise State last week. Dominated them. Alex Golish, former offensive coordinator, I think, for Josh Heupel at Tennessee. Very familiar with SEC play. This one's going to be closer than people think. Florida had a great win last week against Long Island University. South Florida is going to keep it close. In state, give me South Florida plus 17.5. What are your thoughts there, Jake?
I see what you're trying to do here with this one, but I'm not falling for it. I'm not taking the bait here on this one. South Florida, yes, they did whip up on Boise State, but they won the turnover battle by 3. So it just should equate to points. And don't get me wrong, I just think Boise State played bad. I see what you're trying to do. DJ Lagway looked like he balled out last game.
Yeah.
And I know it gets LIU. I still don't know exactly what that stands for. But that's okay. DJ Lagway all the way. And I want the Florida Gators to be good.
Okay.
Give me Florida.
All right. He's taking Florida. Quickly, UL Monroe at 21st ranked Alabama. Crazy to even say that. SEC Network, 7:45 p.m. kick. Alabama, a huge 36.5 point favorite. The total is 50.5. They better right the wrongs quickly in Tuscaloosa. Remember, UL Monroe beat Alabama in 2007 in Tuscaloosa. Nick Saban's debut year. If they lose this one, Jake, all bets are off in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, it can't happen. I'm going to take Bama here, even with this massive spread.
You're laying the points.
I just think Kalen DeBoer has to run this score up and has to prove a point that he has the pulse of this program right now.
All right. Give me 36.5 points. That's a lot of points. I have no idea how good UL Monroe is. I don't think they're necessarily going to compete, but Alabama better come out with their hair on fire to take care of business against UL Monroe this weekend. Going to be a good weekend. Going to be a great weekend because we have college football. Shout out to our partners, PrizePicks, for presenting you all this episode of Punt Pass. Download the PrizePicks app. Use the promo code PUNT. Check us out on social media. I will put up the DB 3-piece this week. You can ride. They also have the $1 million NFL jackpot. That's free to play. Download the PrizePicks app. Use the promo code PUNT. Your first $5 entry gets you $50 instantly, win or lose. And remember, this episode is brought to you by Humberto Injury Law. Humberto Injury Law is your first call when accidents happen. Don't wait. Visit HumbertoInjuryLaw.com today. Humberto Injury Law, protecting people, fighting for justice, winning results. HumbertoInjuryLaw.com, 770-888-8901, 770-888-8901. Follow us on social media. We are at Punt and Pass on X and Instagram. I'm at Drew Butler. He's at From Jake. Jake, anything on the way out, my man?
Yeah, just make sure you stay in your seats for the entirety of the football game.
You better. Thanks so much for tuning in. Subscribe on YouTube, and we will talk to you next week. See you.